So is the Jeep Wrangler a good long distance driving choice? You know, a few years ago, I took a Jeep Gladiator on a 19-hour one-way trip, and it actually worked out really well. It was comfortable, it rode well, fuel economy was average, but I didn't have any issues with it at all. I actually enjoyed it, and the comfort of the seats, pretty darn good. So I thought I'd go out, do a little search on the web because who knows, maybe we'd be taking another trip here soon, no idea. But I thought I'd go out to the web, see what the general consensus is so that you don't have to. So let's take a look here. I asked, is the Jeep Wrangler a good long distance driving choice? It says here, and I'm a little surprised, I gotta be honest, it says right off the bat, no! The Jeep Wrangler is generally considered a poor choice for long-distance highway driving. While it excels off-road, its rugged mechanical design directly compromises highway comfort, fuel efficiency, and overall refinement during extended road trips. Maybe it's because of the tire setup that some of them come with. I don't know. I mean, we've got a more aggressive mud terrain type tire on our Jeep Wrangler, so maybe that has something to do with it. You need to go with something a little more conducive to comfort on the road. I'm not sure. But anyway, why? That's the question. Why it struggles on long road trips. High cabin noise. The boxy shape and removable top, especially soft tops, create intense wind and road noise at highway speeds. I could see that. It's not the quietest thing out there. Again, particularly with the more aggressive mud terrain type tires, right? You do get a lot of sound, you do get a lot of wind buffeting, but I listen to the radio, so I don't even hear that. So I guess, unless you're riding in complete silence, I think I disagree with that one. Wandering steering. The heavy solid front axle requires constant steering corrections on asphalt, leading to driver fatigue and over multiple hours. I could see that. You know, Jeeps are known to kind of ride the cup of the road, and of course the freeway is cupped, some more severe than others, to move water off when it rains, right? And Jeep does tend to want to ride that a little bit, so you're kind of constantly adjusting. I think I would agree with that one. Rough ride quality. Its stiff off-road suspension translates every highway bump, pothole, and expansion joint directly into the cabin. I think that's true for any vehicle. I mean, one thing I find about traveling long distance in any vehicle that's, you know, really annoying are those seams and things, particularly on overpasses and maybe different textures and things in the road. It can become really annoying if they last long and you're on a long enough trip. I don't think that's really just a Jeep thing. Poor fuel economy. Aerodynamics resembling a brick mean poor highway gas mileage and frequent expensive gas station stops. It's not the best on fuel mileage, right, or fuel economy. We all know this. We knew that when we bought the Jeep Wrangler, right? So I would agree with that. I mean, if you're sensitive to gas prices and things like that, it's probably better alternatives than the Jeep. Subpar seats. The seating is designed for upright utility and trail visibility rather than long-term ergonomic lumbar support. I kind of feel that a little bit in the Jeep Wrangler, I guess. You almost would have to put one of those cushions or things behind your back or whatever, you know, to get a little better lumbar support. But as I mentioned, I didn't really have a problem with that in the Jeep Gladiator. And I don't know that the seats between the two are any different. I can't imagine Jeep puts different design seats between the two. Maybe they do. So I'm not sure if I agree with that. I suppose I would actually have to take a long distance trip and experience it for myself. Wind vulnerability. That sounds foreboding. Its high profile and flat sides make it highly susceptible to getting pushed around by strong highway crosswinds. I can see that. I mean, I've been out when it's been windy, and it's windy down here in South Texas frequently, right? It does get tossed a little bit in the wind, particularly if maybe you're at a higher elevation for, I don't know, an overpass or something like that, and it's blowing like crazy outside. maybe in a strong thunderstorm or something, you're gonna feel it for sure. Now, there are some solutions here. How to make it tolerable if you still go. I don't know, I guess they think that maybe the reasons they've listed so far are enough to dissuade you from taking your Jeep on a long distance trip. I mean, if it's your only vehicle, what are you gonna do? Go rent something? I don't know. But anyway, it says here, choose a hardtop. Opting for a factory hardtop with insulated headliners significantly reduces interior wind drone. I would say that's true. Our last Jeep, it was a two-door soft top. And man, those sides slammed against the roll bar. You didn't even have to be going very fast, not even highway speeds, right? And you certainly could hear it. Definitely a hardtop. There are sound deadening options out there if you want to put a panel in the top and around the sides or whatever that do make a difference when it comes to wind noise. So I guess I'd agree with that. Select the right tires. Here we go. Finally, they're going to address what I've been alluding to all along. Standard street tires or all-terrains are much quieter, smoother ride than aggressive mud terrains. There you go. So if you're buying, I guess, a new Jeep Wrangler and your intent is to take it on long-distance trips, you might want to pass on the mud terrains. Even though they're the best for off-roading, you still have to get to where you're going, right? I would agree with that for sure. Pick a longer wheelbase. The four-door unlimited models ride significantly smoother and track straighter on the highway than choppy two-door models. I would say that is definitely true. Having experienced several two-door models myself, this is our first four-door Jeep Wrangler. We have had, I think, 3 or 4 or 5. I know I have a problem, right? Four-door Gladiators, and they were fine. And of course, they had that longer wheelbase. So I think this one's going to be a little bit better. I definitely would replace the mud terrains. Let's you guys take a look at those. As you can see, they're pretty darn aggressive, as they should be, being that they're mud terrains, to grab the road. But the problem with that is they grab the asphalt too. It's funny, when I'm driving around, even at slow speeds up my own road or whatever, I can feel those tires just grabbing every nook and cranny in the road. And they're gonna do that if you're on a freeway driving somewhere, right? I mean, it's what they're designed to do. They're for control and traction off-road. So definitely, I would say go for an all-terrain versus a mud terrain if you're gonna be long distance traveling in your Jeep Wrangler. Leave a comment, let me know. If you've taken trips in a Jeep Wrangler, particularly the four-door version, how did you find it? Was it a good ride, or did it beat the hell out of you the whole time and you couldn't wait to get where you were going and then get back home? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.